Hey Dylan, will I know if people join and when they want to join? Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I'm here with the cannabis license experts, and I am excited to talk about cannabis marketing mistakes to avoid. I'm Dan Serrard. I head business development here at Cannabis Creative Group and Strategic Partnerships, and excited to talk to you today. So before I get into everything, I want to allow a couple more minutes for people to join here. But essentially, Cannabis Creative Group is a digital marketing agency. We are based in Boston and have been working with cannabis clients for about 7 years now. So, what we help with is branding, website design, and digital marketing. So, that's email marketing, social media, SEO, SMS text messaging, and Google Ads. So, with that being said, appreciate everybody for joining me. And if you guys have any questions, like Dylan mentioned, please comment in the questions section, and I will field all the Q&As at the end. And Francis, it's great to see you here, and excited to spend some time with you this week. So, with that being said, want to hop into some general topics here, and some mistakes to avoid when looking at cannabis marketing as a whole. And I've shared my screen here, that I hope everyone can see. Right now it's on our website, but we can go into some different portfolio pieces that I will be talking about shortly here. So, as you all know, marketing is a tough thing to do in the cannabis industry. It's highly regulated and it's essentially a minefield, right? So, we have spent the last 7 years figuring out what works and what does not work. So, I want to share some secrets today. And with that being said, how this is going to be broken up over the next 20 minutes here is I have some questions and some topics that I will be reviewing, and I'll be going into some detail. So please make sure to note any questions that you have on any of the topics, and then we can review them together at the end. So, what are the most overlooked cannabis rules and regulations? So, starting from the high level here. And because cannabis is federally illegal, there are many rules and regulations, which we all know, of different industries that aren't the same, obviously, because it's federally illegal, that don't allow marketers to reach their customers in traditional routes. So I'm going to talk about this from a branding perspective, a digital marketing perspective, and then I have one note as well. So when it comes to branding and what is really overlooked in rules and regulations is that we see a lot of companies push the line or teeter the line of brands and developing brands, logos, packaging design that won't meet state regulations. Now, state regulations are different and set by each state commission. However, there are some similarities to avoid, and these are cartoon images, some color and ideas, and some pictures of animals that seem cartoonish. So anything that attracts children, really as a general rule of thumb is if it looks attractive to, people who are 18 and younger, then probably want to think about that again. And when it comes to digital marketing, the biggest piece here and the most popular is social media advertising. It's one that everybody tries to do. And social media advertising, talking about specifically Instagram and Facebook, is technically not allowed for channels, right? There are some loopholes. However, it is very difficult to do. It's very unsustainable. And it's an area where you might be able to get away with it for a little while, but to invest the time, effort, energy, we typically see this isn't worth it. Now, I will give a major shout out to Twitter, who is going to be the first social media advertising platform that is, allowing for cannabis advertising. Now, there will be some regulations similar to these other platforms. However, I think it's a step in the right direction for all of these companies. Now, one thing to note when we talk about different softwares and channels is email marketing. So email marketing, there are a lot of different platforms to use, and I'm sure it's very overwhelming to determine what is the best fit for your business. Now, there are some platforms that aren't cannabis friendly. So one being MailChimp. So when you're looking at your softwares and your tech stack that you are looking to implement, it's very important to figure out what's cannabis friendly and what is not cannabis friendly. So by doing this, you can contact the software that you're looking to use, talk to a salesperson there, or we actually have some resources written by our amazing production team to help you guys out as well. So the next topic here is, what is the number one biggest mistake that we see cannabis businesses make? And I'm going to answer this, very high level, but it's so important and it really will set your business up for success or failure. And that is wanting to market to everybody. We have a lot of clients that come to us wanting to target everyone. And honestly, it's just not going to work. Years ago, when cannabis was new and cannabis, general health and wellness, and it was very, green and white and medical, it worked because there weren't many companies. Now it's so important to hyper focus on who you're trying to serve. If you're not hyper focused on that niche audience, then you are setting yourself up for failure. It's going to be a long road ahead. So get specific on who you want to target as a brand. Do you want to target moms? Do you want to target athletes? Do you want to target Canna Curious? Do you want to target the Pacific Northwest? And how you provide that value to everybody is going to be your unique value proposition. So focus on that small niche audience at first. Own that customer. Know how they operate day to day. Know how they consume cannabis. Know what they're looking for. Know what products they're interested in, and create your brand around that. Now, what I would say to that, as well as you grow and scale as a business, these audiences can change, right? But it's important to figure out what works versus cannabis for everybody. The next topic is cannabis is definitely becoming a saturated market in some states, right? So what does it take to stand out from the competition? And luckily, our team created an amazing ebook we just launched today on how to stand out in a saturated market. So there's some great advice there, but I want to go into just some details today. And essentially, how to stand out in a saturated market really comes down to branding, branding, branding. Brand is so much more than just a name or a tagline or a logo. You want to make sure to define everything from your target audience in your core values to your colors, fonts, with all thoughtful strategy. So that is what's going to be your differentiator in the market. Everybody is claiming to have the best products, services, the most knowledgeable team, the highest quality of products, organic, you name it. It's all very saturated right now. The best thing you can do is to create that strong brand foundation that really resonates with people. And it's not just the visual aspects, it's the mission of your company, it's your core values, it's why are you a business. And these are all things to think about when starting a cannabis business. And if you're already down the road, I would recommend pausing, taking a deep breath, and figuring out your core ethos before moving forward. So you're going to have to figure this out to be competitive in the market. What are some unique selling points? What's different than your competitors? It will really come down to how your business is and what are the differentiators for your business. And so with that being said, I wanted to highlight a few examples of different brands that we created. You'll see this, and everyone has a very different feel. So the first one is a dispensary in Massachusetts called BoomX. And they are a construction-focused company, a family-owned construction business who is opening up a dispensary. So you can see from the work that we've done, the different color palettes, their name of their business, right? Boom, like a boom in a crane, and their, tone and the rust and the oranges and the yellows, and really looking through who we are as a business is going to be their unique selling point. On the flip side, we have Calverde Naturals, once again a dispensary in Massachusetts. Very different look and feel, but you can tell the audience from this business to this one is going to have a different buyer persona. So these are companies that I felt are definitely creative in the space. They have a strong brand ethos, and they are set up for success. I have no doubt that they will find their customers, they will have a loyal audience, and their brand messaging is really solid. So the next thing is, how can a new cannabis business establish your brand? Now, a brand is an investment into your future. If you want to establish your brand and do a good job, you have to be patient and precise. This takes time. It takes money, it takes time, but think of it as building the foundation for your house. If you don't have a strong foundation for your house, nothing else is going to help you out in the future. Afterwards is investing into digital marketing. So in order to establish your brand, you need to invest into search engine optimization, social media, email marketing, and all of these touch points need to be fully dialed into your unique audience and your unique story. Once again, you need to have that niche audience in place and that correct audience in place with your brand messaging to really resonate with that customer. Brand loyalty is growing very fast in the cannabis industry. It's something that hasn't, in my opinion, there hasn't been much brand loyalty, but now with so many choices and new brands popping up, once again, it's a way to stand out from the competition and to survive in the cannabis industry. Now, social media. I mentioned social media, and I know that social media is very notorious for shutting down cannabis accounts. So I'm sure a lot of people are asking, how can you avoid getting shut down? How can you get back up? We have these conversations on a daily basis. Now, to start out, and let's talk about before you even get shut down. It's really figuring out what you should and should not do on social media. And the first um, area that you should look into is establishing what these platforms allow you to say. Essentially, the biggest piece here is you cannot sell or use selling language for cannabis products on social media. So what does that mean? If I can't say that we have, $30 eighths on Fridays, what else can I say? How can I keep content? So what you want to do is going back to your brand foundation, your brand ethics, and your brand core value proposition. What makes your business different? Who are the people that work at your business? Do you do any or do you work with any foundations, any nonprofits? Do your employees volunteer once a week? What are some things that make you different than anyone else? Because everyone else has those same $30 eighths on Fridays, and that's what's going to get you shut down. So going back to your root, your core value, and figuring out what you should be saying to differentiate yourself as a brand, as a dispensary, as a product is going to be important. So focus on the feeling and the lifestyle around your brand. So are you a social consumption brand? If so, that's great. Show pictures of people, drinking your cannabis seltzers on the beach, sharing a joint, whatever it might be. If you are a highly technical company with a very precise piece of machinery, show that machinery, show how it operates, show how you can reduce the cost of employees manufacturing products. If you have an automation for that, show how that works. Talk about those unique selling points. Don't just say, hey, our machine is $2,000 and you can buy it here. So doing those different pieces of content is going to help you keep your content up. The other thing that you should be cognizant of is avoiding some cannabis hashtags. So there's some hashtags that work and hashtags that can get you flagged. So it's important to know what those are and don't use them. So there's a long list of hashtags and it's very hard to find, but there are multiple resources. We've developed some at Cannabis Creative Group, but they're all over the internet to avoid and be strategic about. If you do get shut down on Instagram and Facebook, it is a manual process. So you will have to work through them and through their support to be able to identify why you got shut down and what are the routes to get your pages back up. Maybe deleting content, it may be deleting posts, and it can take some time. If you have a large following, it's worth it to try to get those pages back up and running instead of just starting over from scratch. Unfortunately, sometimes if you are using a lot of selling language, if there's a lot of pictures of flower or products, cannabis products on your social media pages, you may have to restart and redevelop that strategy. So the next topic, and that I wanted to talk about is there's so many ways to digitally market a cannabis business. There are and there aren't. What is the most important channel for cannabis businesses to invest in and why? And obviously I'm a little biased because I work for a cannabis marketing agency, but I can tell you from all types of experience. And before this, I did manage a relationship with agencies in a different industry. So I was on the client side. But DIYing these elements will not give your business the longevity it needs to survive. I would highly recommend investing into a professional agency, organization, consultant to assist you with this if you don't have the expertise yourself. So doing that means working with a cannabis specific company. They have clients, they've worked in the industry, they know what to do, know what not to do. And this will help you save time, it will help you save money, and it will help you save learning as we go. So the first thing you want to invest in, and I can't say this enough, is your brand identity. Your brand identity is what will ultimately decide whether or not you stand out for cannabis consumers. Being professional, having that good foundation will ensure that you have an intentional, strategic brand that is more than just a nice logo or some pretty colors. The second piece to invest in is your website. So if you are not a dispensary, if you are not a retail storefront, this is really your virtual storefront. And even if you are a dispensary, majority of the time people are finding you online first. So it's so important to have that strong digital presence because that's your first nice to meet you handshake with your customers. They want that positive feeling. They want to be attracted to you when they find you online through social, through the email, campaign that you sent out, um, through your website. And creating that mobile ready, SEO backed functional website is going to be key to invest in. It's going to be the difference maker of driving people to your website and nobody converting, and driving people to your website and those sales convert, or those leads converting into sales. So what we do is we talk about a couple components here is your branding in your website and then your digital marketing. So you have two pieces. Your branding in your website, you're building the home, right? And we'll use the example of having a party here. So having a party, in 1 second, I'm just going to stop my screen from sharing so you guys can all see me, and the video isn't distracting anymore. But having a party. So let's talk about having a party. To first have a party, you need a house to have a party in. That is your brand. That is your website. You need to build the house first. The second piece is building the roads or the driveway to get people to your house. That is the digital marketing. So if you have inviting people over to have a party and you have the roads built and driveway, so you have your digital marketing, right? You're investing into SEO, you're investing into email, you're investing into social, but your house isn't finished. Well, you're setting people up for a bad experience. So that's why it's important to not only have those strong campaigns, but to have that strong foundation to convert those leads into sales. On the flip side, if you have a great website and a great brand, but you're not doing anything on the digital marketing front, the SEO campaigns, the paid search, the social, no one can get to that party. So that's how I like to digest some of those campaigns. You can also talk about it as lead generation and customer retention too. And so the last question that I want to go over is, if I was to start and market a new cannabis brand from scratch, how would I go about doing it? And I think you all can probably tell at this point that I would not cut corners on the brand foundation. Um, so crucial to have that professional experience for the brand, have the website, and to really set yourself up for a strong foundation. So, cannabis is becoming so popular in the United States. It is very similar that people are looking for cannabis as they do restaurants or coffee shops or jewelry stores. And so, where do people find these places? Well, they take out their phone and they go on Google Maps or the search engine and say, cannabis near me, coffee shop near me, etc. Insert industry near me. So it's crucial that we are shifting as an industry to become relevant in the search engines and spending time to invest into some of these efforts, how to build that foundation. And that's really where I would invest my time, my effort, my energy, is to lay that foundation and to be found in the search engines over anything else. And so that concludes the segment today here. I appreciate everybody joining us for the last 20 minutes or so, and I hope you guys all learned something from this. I'm going to open it up for questions and answers if anybody has them. Please feel free to leave a comment in the section, and I'm happy to answer that. All right, last call. Any questions? All right. Well, we have no questions. So I guess I answered every single question you guys have, and you know so much more since this webinar started. So I wish you all the best. If you need to reach me or would like to chat further, I'd love to chat with everyone who is here, who is involved, answer any questions you have, talk more about your business, and provide some strategy. My email is just dan@cannabiscreativegroup.com. Once again, dan@cannabiscreativegroup.com, or feel free to call or text my work phone, 857-488-5897, or visit our website at cannabiscreative.com. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and hopefully we'll see you all soon. I will also be at NECANN this weekend if anyone's going to be there. Thank you.